Hello, Matt here with another HUNDEGNI video analysis. Today we're going to be going over HUNDEGNI 2.7. This was uploaded on October 31st, so it is the Halloween video once again. HUNDEGNI tends to upload either around or right on holidays, and there's a lot going on in this video. We figured out quite a bit, and it's only 38 seconds, so I'll be playing most of it for you, and then we'll kind of go back over it and kind of go over what has been found out with this video. So a lot going on here. Like I said, we'll just kind of start at the beginning here. Once again, we see like this red aura around like whoever this person is that we've been kind of seeing through their eyes throughout all of these 2.0 videos. And once again, we have that red aura here as they look down at the floor. Then they slowly begin to look up. And you'll notice all throughout this that once again, like you have these little black orbs, which are pretty much in every other 2.0 video, as they kind of rise upwards from the floor. In pretty much every other video, you can see them. And in particular, obviously, you notice that this person is in some sort of hallway with doors on every side. Obviously, not a real location. Once again, this appears to be created in some sort of online program. And all these doors are pretty much alike except for one, which is down here, which we'll see a bit better once we get to it. And there's a little black sign down here. Once you get closer, you'll see that that is the subject to sign, which we have also seen in almost every other 2.0 video. It appears to be a recurring thing. So I'll go ahead and play this a bit longer. So if you listen very closely, you're probably going to have the volume up pretty high for that. When you're by these first sets of doors that this person walks over to, you will hear the Carpenter's song, which is called "Sing a Song," which was popularly like used by Unhinged in his time during the Pointing Ninja of Z investigation. And so that kind of strengthens our opinions that it's him that is making these videos and that it's him who we're seeing this entire hallway perspective from. And basically, I think that's maybe just like a callback. Like if you go through one of those doors, maybe it's supposed to hint that like you'd go back in time towards those early days of the investigation. Because, as you see when he approaches the second set of doors, there's a different sound. Alright, yeah, that's very easy to overlook, but it is the sound of whistling, and that whistling is actually from a very early Pointing Ninja of Z investigation video, and I don't remember the exact name of it right now, but I'll put a link to it in the description below, because it is verbatim exactly what you hear in that video, just like this eerie whistling sound as it whistles the theme, which I believe they figured out to be My Favorite Things, that song. And I think that's more closely associated with the Suited Man in the Pointing Ninja of Z investigation. And it's kind of a long story with all of that kind of stuff, so I don't want to get too far into it until maybe the 2.0 series comes to a close. And so I think we'll just kind of leave that there for now. But you do see that each set of these doors is like bringing on new sounds from the past. And also you're beginning to notice that these strange, like white sparkles or sparks begin appearing on the screen, and right now they don't appear to be anything, but as you'll see, they do turn into something towards the end of the video. You hear the sound from a previous HUNDEGNI video where like a deep voice begins like just saying odd things in the background. I can't remember exactly which HUNDEGNI video that is. I'll probably put another link in the description for that. I'll just put it for each set of doors, because I do think that is important that we understand exactly like what's going on with every set of doors here. But that's not the big thing to take away from this video, I don't think. We'll get to that in just a sec. Okay, so these sets of doors have like an odd like ringing noise that you obviously just heard and you'll hear more of. And it sounds very disjointed and odd, and I don't think it has appeared in any videos in the Pointing Ninja Z investigation whatsoever. I believe that that is purely new just to this video, to HUNDEGNI 2.7. And just as he hears it, the narrator or the person that we're seeing through the eyes of, they kind of start shaking their head and looking down at the ground. You begin seeing these strange white blocks appearing. This is the first set, and then there's a second set. Right there. Slowly going upwards, kind of like an arc. And so at this point, the sparks suddenly turn into something as like a really, really bizarre noise starts playing. Once again, I have no idea what that's supposed to be. But basically, this is a face. You can tell just like you can see a smile down there, which is pretty creepy, and an eye there, another eye there, perhaps the side of the face around there. And it basically, these sparks just turn into like another person just like looking right back at the player, and it becomes more difficult to determine that this is a face as the video goes on. I'll go ahead and play that. I should point out, in addition to these two eyes, there appears to be something like sparkling on what would be the forehead of this other person, which is quite bizarre as well. And I forgot to point this out a bit earlier, but I'm sure you noticed that one of the doors does have a monarch butterfly on it. It's the only door that has a different design. So I'm not exactly sure what this means, but obviously we're supposed to take note of it, otherwise it wouldn't have that picture. Interestingly, I guess I never noticed this before until I just paused it right now at the 30 mark. This sparkle right in the middle of the forehead does pretty well line up with the butterfly here. That might just be a coincidence, or it could be premeditated. I'm not exactly sure. And towards the end, this probably isn't the best frame to freeze on, but I think you can notice it. The hallway becomes kind of warped there towards the end. It definitely does not look as straight-edged as it did towards the beginning of the video. So obviously something's happening. The narrator is like panicking. Something is not right with that door and what this image is. And the video pretty much just ends with this just eerie thing, some white thing towards the side of the frame here, and it's basically just this photo just kind of rotating back and forth. Once again, the hallway doesn't look quite right. It's kind of wavy towards certain areas, and it has a certain kind of filter on it. And we really haven't been able to figure out why that's there, although I'm sure it has to mean something, otherwise it probably wouldn't have been included at all. So now it's time to go to what we have found out, which is pretty big, I would say. It goes back to this first code here, because there's this code and then there is this second code back here. And originally we had just no idea what to think of it until one of our friends posted some questions to various Reddit pages, and we got some help over there. And we were able to solve this code. We were not able to solve the second code, although we do have an idea of how to start. So basically, if you go back to HUNDEGNI 2.6, you get all these weird letters, if you recall, and we just had no idea what to make of it. Apparently, these blocks actually match up very well with the letters, and that is no coincidence, obviously. The second code, the one that looks like an arc that goes upwards, that also matches up with this little page here. And so obviously that means that we're supposed to take note of this, and if you look at all the little letters here, you'll have an N, a Z, a G, B, V, M, and a U. And we figured out that if you subtract one letter from each of these, you will get a message. So if we go back one, that is an M, and if you go back here, that is an A, or actually, rather, my apologies, that would be a Y. So you end up, if you do that with all of these, you get the phrase my and then fault. And obviously that could mean quite a bit here. That shows that this narrator apparently is carrying something pretty heavy on his shoulders. He would feel like he did something wrong, and it's very difficult to tell exactly what that thing could be. There are lots of options, lots of possibilities with this. And interestingly, if you do take the second code, the arc code that goes upwards, it also matches up with letters. Even more interestingly, this U at the very bottom here that you have highlighted, that's actually highlighted twice with two squares, one with this code and then one with the second code. So I'm not sure if this U has like some really big purpose or meaning. We're not really sure, but that second arc code, it does match up with letters, but it doesn't spell anything. We've tried subtracting a letter from each. We tried adding a letter to each. We really can't figure out how that second code functions or how it works just yet. So maybe a future video might help with that, or maybe we just did overlook something. That is very possible. But that is a pretty big discovery, at least, to be able to find the hidden message to at least one part of the code. So with all that being said, that's really all that I can bring to light with HUNDEGNI 2.7 for now. I will now make a video about HUNDEGNI 2.8 as the series begins to wrap up and we get closer to the possible 3.0 series, or maybe just the end of this in general. I guess we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, guys. Matt out.